We are in Maynooth today doing a number of interviews, and one particular interview we had was with the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, who's in Ireland these days. And of course, we wanted to talk to him about the terrible situation in the Holy Land. We're going to continue that theme now because we're joined now by Michael Kelly. People will know Michael Kelly, the former editor of the Irish Catholic, but now recently in a new post, Director of Public Affairs for Aid to the Church in Need. So, Aid to the Church in Need, just a brief word about that.
Yeah, I mean, our motto in Aid to the Church in Need is really that Christians can thrive everywhere. It was set up in the aftermath of World War II when so many millions of Catholics were displaced all over Europe, far from their homes, with no support, no pastoral support. And it's grown now to working in 140 countries. And what we do that's slightly different from, I suppose, development organizations or traditional aid agencies that people would be used to, supporting faith is very much central to what we do. So in terms of helping to rebuild schools, for example, helping to rebuild churches, obviously material support for people in need as well, but very much trying to concentrate particularly in areas of the world where Christians are suffering or where small Christian communities are very, very isolated and in need of support from countries like Ireland.
So we've just spoken with the Patriarch, and it's absolutely terrible to hear a first-hand account of the destruction and the pain. And how does Aid to the Church in Need assist people?
Well, I mean, if we look at the situation in the West Bank now, unemployment among the Christian community in the West Bank is now about 87%. The reason behind that now is many of those people worked in pilgrimages, worked in hotels, worked in souvenir shops, worked as tour guides. Pilgrimages obviously ended from October 7th. Many of the other people used to go from the West Bank into Israel every day to work as casual laborers, so they would help out in agriculture, they would help out on construction sites. They've been banned from going to Israel from October 7th. So the situation is really desperate there. And one of the things that Aid to the Church in Need is doing is providing summer diversion camps. So both within East Jerusalem itself, the Christian community there, and the various Christian parishes in the West Bank, because in a situation of conflict, and we know this in our own country, we know from Northern Ireland, there can be a terrible cycle if you can't divert children away from you worrying about it, fretting about it, internalizing the stresses of their parents. So just to give them the opportunity to go out every day, to play sports, to be involved in activities. So ACN are sponsoring that. One of the things that ACN is also doing then is trying to support community employment projects so that you can create alternative employment for times like this. A lot of that is around the natural resources they have there. So the olives, so providing olive presses to a village so they can make olive oil, so they can make other products. There's a Christian village in the West Bank, Taiba, which is very near Jerusalem, and they produce beer, they produce wine there. And the last time I was there, they were in the process of learning from some very industrious French people how to make brandy. So that's something that they want to be able to export to market to the whole world. So, and I mean, there's hundreds of Christian families in Bethlehem that their livelihood is making olive wood products, because what is there in plentiful supply is olive wood. So they make beautiful, beautiful crosses, beautiful nativity scenes, and there's an added intensity to these gifts. The fact that not only do they come from Bethlehem, from the town where Jesus was born, but also they're handmade by the descendants of the people who 2,000 years ago were the first to greet and to welcome the arrival of the Christ child. So, sure, you can buy mass-produced nativity scenes off the internet, probably cheaper than you can buy them from the Christians in Bethlehem, but you have the added knowledge of knowing that you're helping struggling families there, and also you're keeping a tradition alive. Because one of our big concerns in Aid to the Church in Need, even before this current war between Hamas and Israel, was the Christian migration from the Holy Land. Many Christians are leaving. You now have a situation where you now have more Bethlehem Christians in Santiago, Chile than you have in Bethlehem itself. So it's a stark statistic, and in some ways, we in the West, we can be very encouraging to Arab Christians, to Palestinian Christians, saying you must stay in the Holy Land, your roots are in the Holy Land, but it's difficult to stay in the Holy Land. It is very easy for us to go there for a week and encourage them to stay in the Holy Land and then, fly back to the safety community of Ireland. So really trying in terms of education and employment projects to make it a credible place to stay and to bring up a family. But of course, every flare-up of conflict, every war makes that more and more difficult for the communities to stay.
And if people want to find out more about the work of Aged Church in Need?
If people want to find out more, they can log on to our website, which is acnireland.org. And actually very soon on that, we're going to be launching a whole range of products from the Holy Land, olive wood products that are supporting Christian families in the Holy Land. So we'd really encourage people to think about buying those, because not only are they buying what are beautiful gifts for people, they really are supporting in a tangible way the families there.